Peter Salomon, Theatre Thursday, BBC Radio Leeds. I'm Andrew Edwards. It's 3:15 now. Time to introduce our first two guests of the afternoon. They're involved with the latest production by one of West Yorkshire's intriguingly named theatre companies, the Leeds Insurance Dramatic and Operatic Society, or LIDOS for short. They're performing The Wizard of Oz at the Carriageworks Theatre in Leeds City Centre from next Tuesday, the 11th of June, through to Saturday the 15th. And it's a big year, their 40th anniversary year. So they were founded, Peter, in the year that Rocky Horror first graced our stage. And,
of course.
Yeah, there we are. Adrian Marshall is in. Oh, always thinking, right? Always thinking. Right? Adrian Marshall is the chair of LIDOS. Hello, Adrian. How are you?
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
And alongside you, we've got Dorothy. Hello,
Hi.
Dorothy. This is Kirsten Moore.
Hi.
They don't come much bigger in terms of musicals than the role of Dorothy, do they?
It's quite a role to live up to. Got some shoes to fill, but...
Well, I've got some appropriately coloured shoes, and Judy Garland standing them in the next couple of minutes. So fabulous. Just to the company first, LIDOS. I mean, this is intriguing. Was this originally set up then just for people who worked in the insurance industry, Adrian?
That's right. What it was originally, it was what's called Insure View, which was a society formed by what was then a huge insurance industry in Leeds, and from there they moved on, decided to take it further, and in fact formed LIDOS. This the first show they did back in 1973 was a musical, Lady Be Good, and from there they then expanded to taking plays, and then they went on to do pantomimes, and that's what we do today. We do 3 shows a year. We do a pantomime in January, a musical in June, and then a play, although we have changed slightly. We've done a cabaret as well as a play in the September. And we've been entertaining audiences in Leeds for 40 years now, which is a fantastic achievement.
And before anyone can walk through the door, they have to show a work ID card that says they're in the insurance industry?
Well, I have to say that there's probably maybe only 1 or 2 people actually working in the insurance industry now. There's people from all walks of life are in the society, and in fact everybody is welcome and made very welcome.
It's interesting, isn't it? We talk a lot about the heritage of our brass bands, for example, and so many of them, it's a long way because the mining industry's often gone, or the mill that was there at the root of that band may have disappeared, but the name matters a lot, I imagine.
That's right, yes, and people do associate LIDOS with obviously with the name, and people recognise LIDOS as a society that performs in Leeds, and as far as I'm aware, there's never been any thought of changing the name, certainly whilst I've been chairman.
Presumably in all the years you spent in Leeds, you must have come across LIDOS in your career.
Oh,
Peter,
yes, I've been to see several of their productions in my time. I remember Tony
Hoyland, that's
no
right.
longer
Yes.
with us.
It's very sadly, yes.
Lots of those
That's right.
people involved in the company.
So you're the chair, Adrian. Does
That's
that mean
right.
that you were somebody who was strutting your stuff on stage and now they've sort of put you off and given you an honorary title, or do you still get up there and perform?
I do occasionally if they're short. Usually are short of men in the chorus, so I do the odd show. That's right, yes. But mainly now, mostly administration, which is quite excessive. I have to say.
There's quite a lot to be done.
It's funny that, isn't it? It's always shortage of men.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, it's school, anagrams,
choirs are always saying it as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes. What is it, Kirsten? Why are they short of men, these societies? What's going on
Can't tell
there?
you, but it makes auditions harder for females because they've got so much more competition.
That's a very good point, isn't it? Frankly, I turn up with half decent boys. Adrian will be giving me plum rolls.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not that desperate. Did you have your roots in insurance yourself? Is that how you got in?
Absolutely not at all. No, it was something that I was involved in another society in Leeds. Sadly, the Leeds Thespians, which is sadly no more, which actually used to perform at the Grand Theatre.
Yeah.
And I just became a member because I was interested in theatre generally, and I went along to LIDOS many years ago now, I guess. And
you were going to date yourself then, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Wisely decided not to.
No, I thought I wouldn't do that.
So, Wizard of Oz, why this show? And then I'll speak to Dorothy.
I think it's a show for everybody. It's a good family show. And when we're looking at shows, we have to try and, if we can, pick a show that will be good for the society and involve as many people as we can. Have we a cast that can do the show? So there's many things we have to look. Is it going
and you need to get bums on seats.
And as I say, and will it sell as well? Because like everybody, in a way, it's a business, and we have to sell tickets to put shows on. That's right.
And casting the role of Dorothy is pretty plump. So you must have done all right at those auditions then, despite all the competition, Kirsten.
Yeah, I hope so. It's looking to be a brilliant show. I mean, the cast is amazing. We all keep getting upstaged by the wonderful Oscar playing Toto.
Now, I want to ask about this because this is quite a dog. He's a rescue dog, I think, isn't
He is, yeah, from Dogs Trust.
Right. And has he been embraced from the Dogs Trust for the show, or does he belong to somebody?
He belongs to his owner, LJ, who keeps bringing him to rehearsals, and she's brilliant with him.
And is she a member of the society before this particular role?
No, she was contacted just to do this show, but it's been brilliant having Oscar there for all the rehearsals.
She's not one of those singing... He's not one of those singing dogs, because a few dogs, when they hear other people sing, do like to join in, don't they?
No, he's really well behaved, actually.
Yeah. In fact, Oscar goes around to schools as part of the community with his owner, or PA as she calls herself, to show children how to stay safe around dogs in the community.
Oh, that's good. And what's it like working with a dog? Because all the advice about kids and animals.
Don't work with kids and
exactly.
animals. Yeah. It is really good. It's quite a challenge, and the good thing is no show will ever be the same when working with an animal, because he'll decide to lay down in the middle of a scene when we want him to wander around. But
did he have to audition?
I think he did, actually. I'm pretty sure he did, but the competition was even less for dogs as it is for men.
If you've got a dog that wants to join LIDOS, it couldn't be simpler. 22 minutes past 3, BBC Radio Leeds, Thursday afternoon. Theatre Thursday, I'm Andrew Edwards, our theatre expert Peter Sandeman's here, and our first two guests of the afternoon, the chair of LIDOS, the Leeds Insurance Dramatic and Operatic Society, Adrian Marshall, and Dorothy, Kirsten Moore. What is it like moving Kirsten into a role which everybody knows? Because I wonder if there is anybody listening who has not in some way or other heard some music, seen the film, been to a show of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's such an iconic role that there's no way you can not put all your heart and soul into it, because if you don't, they're not going to like it, because everyone's got such a high expectation coming to see this show. But it's not just the classic story you expect, with thrown in a few modern twists, which I'm not going to give away to come see it. But it is brilliant playing such a role that everyone knows so well, because you've got such big shoes to fill.
And what do you do costume-wise? Because Dorothy, in costume terms, is relatively conventional, but there's other well-known characters who need a bit more going on, don't they?
This is true. My costume is quite traditional. The blue dress, of course, and the red shoes, of course. The Tin Man, Lion and the Scarecrow have some very interesting costumes, which you will have to come and see to get the full details.
Do you have a Yellow Brick Road?
We do. The set, if you want to talk about the set, it's quite interesting.
The set is quite innovative, actually, and very modern, a modern take, and... whilst it sticks very obviously to the story, it is what's called the RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Company version that we're doing, which is slightly updated, because originally the actual musical was taken straight from the film, whereas the RSC version is slightly updated and slightly modernised, and we've put a few more twists on it as well, including roller skates and umbrellas. Which again, you're going to have to come and see. But
you don't go on. Do you go on roller skates?
No, I don't go on roller skates. No.
How do you deal with all that stuff that we remember, swirling houses in a black and white sky?
Well, that's all done on screen, and there's a screen that's actually going to be flashed up and come on when that bit comes on. So in fact, you will see it all whizzing round on the stage.
How many times have you had a big role like this? Because let's just say you considerably lower the average age in this room without being rude to both Adrian and Peter, who are alongside me. So it's quite all right. Have you ever had a role anything like this before, Kirsten? I've
only just finished university, but I've played some lead roles when I was at school for some.
And you're local to West Yorkshire, are you?
I am. I went to Templemore High School, and I played Lousy Brown in Bugsy Malone. When we did that at the school, and that was my first ever lead role in a show.
Not a bad role to start with.
It's not a bad role to start, but this is my first one outside of a school environment.
And you've been studying a related subject down at Sheffield Hallam, haven't you?
I've just finished my degree in BA Honours for Performance for Stage and Screen.
So what are you hoping to do? Is this part of... Because there's a lot of people who have lives there, and then they have fabulous acting careers, but on the amateur stage, and they like that combination. Are you hoping to make this a career, or what?
I am really hoping to make it a career. I've always loved theatre, and I've been to see almost every show that's ever on, all the time. I'm always at the theatre. But obviously it's a big industry, and it's really difficult to get into, so I don't expect to just walk into a job, but it'd be brilliant to have a career on stage in the West End.
It's a tough world, Peter, but you've seen stars who have been in productions here in West Yorkshire in very similar position to Kirsten, and then gone on to the biggest of big roles.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we've had them in the varieties and the pantomime. We've mentioned this a couple of programs ago. Somebody who is sort of minor role, and in fact, what's her name? Rhea Jones. I can remember her back in my Swansea days. She was juvenile chorus. She went to the dance school with Catherine Zeta-Jones, and she's now, I wouldn't say she's a big star. She's not a big star, but she's always working in the West End.
Well, there we are. There is hope for us all. Well, not for me, but anyway, there's hope for you, Kirsten. Shall I play you a little tune that you may recognise and get your thoughts on this? It had to be done. Sometimes you just have to do it. I am going to play The Time Warp in honour of Philip Franks joining us from Rocky Horror, which is coming to the Leeds Grand next week. A show I imagine you'd quite like to see, but you've got a previous engagement.
I have. I'm afraid I don't think they'll let me have a night off for Dorothy, so I won't be able to go see that one.
Have a listen to Judy Garland then. This is, of course, some would say the definitive version, until you've heard Kirsten Moore's version of Over the Rainbow on BBC Radio Leeds, 26 minutes past 3. It's pretty good, isn't it? Judy Garland and Over the Rainbow from, of course, the show that we're talking about this afternoon, The Wizard of Oz. And Kirsten Moore is going to be playing Dorothy in the production we've been discussing by Leeds Insurance Dramatic and Operatic Society. Adrian Marshall is the chair of the society. How does our Kirsten do it?
Excellently.
You were about to say that. You probably cast her, didn't you?
Well, I have to say, I have heard it before, but last night in rehearsal, she was absolutely brilliant. So it was really, really good. And I think there'll be a few tears to a few eyes next week at the Carriageworks Theatre.
Didn't take much to get my mum and my gran crying, but that one.
So you sold 2 tickets already. So
I've got most of the people I know coming on opening night, so.
Do you get very emotional doing the song? Because it is a very powerful song.
It does. It's quite nerve-wracking, to be honest, doing that one, because it's been done so many times by so many different people. You've got to put your own spin on it without taking away the brilliance that is the classic song.
Well, I hope you do wonderfully well. Enjoy it. Her
Thank
first
you
big
very
role,
much.
Kirsten Moore playing Dorothy, Adrian Marshall from LIDOS, the show running. A lovely theatre. If you've not been before, I do recommend it. It's the Carriageworks Theatre, right in the centre of Leeds, the 11th of June to Saturday the 15th. And you've just handed me, Adrian, goodness me, talk about the planning. You've obviously been planning. We've got Puss in Boots is the Panto Friday the 17th to Saturday the 25th of January 2014. And before that, your autumn show, which is a show I love actually, Little Voice, The Rise and Fall of, also at the Carriageworks. That's in late September. Well, it's lovely to see you both. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much
Thank you for
indeed.
having us.
Thank you.
It goes well.